okay, guys, give me your 5 best stories. This is a book, right? So,
Oh my God, that'd be so easy. Okay, I'll tell you
yeah.
just for your podcast. Here's a good one. My good buddy Tommy Swick. It's a short story. Tommy's on tour with the Bare Naked Ladies, and they're playing stadiums. Well, Tommy's a kind of a wild man. He loves to party. So he's particularly tired, and he's had some partying going on. So he's fine. He does his opening act. He goes, he gets on the tour bus, and that's the end of the night for him. He's not going out. He's not doing anything, right? So, he gets in the tour bus, and you know what the tour bus is like. You go in your own little cubicle, you close the curtain, and you're in your little coffin, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
So Tommy finally, wow, I had a good sleep. And he wakes up the next day, and he undoes the thing, and he comes out in the tour bus, and he got on the wrong tour bus.
Where is he?
He woke up in like Atlanta, Georgia, and people, the greatest thing is nobody knew he was in there. They were going, who the hell are you? How the hell did you get on this bus?
That's so awesome.
So he had to call the guys in the Bare Naked Ladies, and he had to fly himself. He had to get to an airport and fly himself back to the tour.
It's awesome.
That's an awesome one, man.
That's good. That's really good.
There you go. So, like I said, we could get some of our friends together and tell us the best road stories. And there you go.
Oh, that's
We're
awesome.
opening the show with that story.
There you go. Hey, everybody, it's Lance Dawson. I am back in the studio with Andrew Stewart here for another amazing episode of Backstage Lowdown. Today, we have one of Canada's premier blues guitarists, songwriters, and performers extraordinaire. Steve Strongman is in the house with us. Also, along with Steve Strongman, is a nice reminder that we are sponsored by Look Digital Marketing. This company does everything from building amazing websites to full-scale online marketing for you and your company. It even makes Andrew and I look pretty good, which is awesome. So big shout out to Look Digital Marketing. Thanks for them. And Steve Strongman in the house. Here we go.
In a moment, there's the man.
There it is.
Hey, guys.
How's it going, Steve?
Look at this. He's driving. We can't do a podcast. He's driving.
I'll tell you.
Don't get in an accident.
No, God, no. I'm not driving right now, but where I'm staying, they're doing all this loud renovation to interrupt the audio, if you know what I mean.
I appreciate that. And if you're at a drive-through, I'll take a steep tea, 2 milk, 2 sugar. I think that's where we're headed with this.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Is this sponsored by Tim Hortons, this podcast?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And we're hoping that we're going to use the money to help Tim Hortons be just more consistent. Right.
Is that what you want?
Everything it is, because every time I order something, I drive away. I'm 5 kilometers away. I say, hey, I ordered some tea and this is a pie and ice cream. What the hell is this? It's not even close. Not even close.
Wow.
Yeah.
I hear you, man.
I got issues.
Isn't bad.
Yeah, but when you want a hot beverage and somebody's giving you pie and ice cream,
you would think there that the mess up might be bag in versus bag out, but you're getting a pie.
Getting a pie. And I think it's important that when we discuss issues of national security, like this Tim Hortons issue, that we have Juno Award winner Steve Strongman on board instead of just some other Canadian yuts that, right? We got to get this guy live. Steve, thanks for joining us, man. I'm Lance, just to let you know. And the other handsome dude is Andrew Stewart.
Yeah. Lance and Andrew, thank you very much for having me, both you guys.
No, we appreciate you taking the time, man. We really do. Well, we're both KW guys, so watching you and Zabo over the years and stuff, it's nice to have you back in the house, right? So that's great.
That's amazing. KW
Yeah.
guys. Wow.
Yeah.
So those are, my stomping grounds, of course,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, we're excited to get you on the show. Now, when we were first trying to make arrangements last month, I think you were on your way out to LA to do a bit of writing. Is that something that you can talk about now, or is that still a little hush-hush, or what was happening
It is not
there?
hush-hush. I'm happy to talk about that, but the main reason for me to go to Los Angeles was actually to go to the Grammys.
Oh, nice.
The Grammys. That's an award show, right? That's a little thing that's going on out there.
Yeah. So, I was doing some writing, but the main reason for the trip was to go and celebrate the record that I made with the fabulous Thunderbirds, and the fact that that record was nominated for 2 Grammys. And as you guys may know, I wrote all the material on that record with Kim Wilson, and I co-produced the record with Kim, and I played guitar on every track.
That's awesome.
That's fantastic. And so what was the experience like? Was this your first time at the Grammys, Steve?
This was my first time, yeah.
And what was that experience like?
I loved it. It made me want to keep working so I can get an opportunity to go back,
Sure.
It's great. I mean, obviously it's a world stage of music, and the greatest thing about the Grammys for me was during the day, they give away about 85 Grammy awards during the day. At like a pre-Grammy celebration, and the Junos do the same kind of thing. So the televised portion of it is really just such a small part, and that's more just like, the pop stars are there and the performances are there and everything. But during the day is when you really are in the room with thousands of other musicians, artists, industry people, and you get a chance to meet fantastic people and just celebrate music. So it was really an incredible experience.
Just to be in a room of all those people, like you said, and having that many artists in a room, that's pretty amazing.
How does the invitation show up for that? Is there like a butler that shows up at your front door with a golden envelope, or
a butler?
Or do you just get a text?
Are you from like 1965? A butler?
Just here's the secret knock. Just come to the back door.
I'll tell you what happened for me was it was all through the fabulous Thunderbirds, because they're the artist, and they received the nomination and all of the stuff that goes along with that. So I mean, Kim's been nominated 8 times for Grammys. Kim Wilson, of course, of the fabulous Thunderbirds. So for me, this was just, we didn't set out and start working together because we were like, let's see what we can do. Maybe we'll get nominated for a Grammy. It was just to try, and the songs went really well when we were writing with them. And then they asked me to be a part of the production and all of that stuff. So that whole process was very unique in itself because of the way it all came together. And it was like the Grammys were it was like the cherry on top, really.
You said you'd written with Kim Wilson before, right? So that was a pre-existing relationship?
No, this was the first time. That came about because Jeff Kulovic at Stony Plain Records had signed the fabulous Thunderbirds to a deal, and he'd also signed me to a recording contract at Stony Plain, and then he signed me to a publishing deal. So it all started with him, Jeff, seeing the fabulous Thunderbirds on I think the legendary Rhythm and Blues cruise, or one of those cruises. And he immediately said, these guys should write with Steve. I really think that it would be a good fit. And so he called me up when he got back from that and asked, would you be interested in writing with Kim? And of course I was, because to tie Kitchener into all of this, here's a cool story for you guys.
There it is.
The night that I snuck up the fire escape when I was about maybe 16 years old, snuck up the fire escape at Pop the Gator and hung out and saw Mel Brown, and the night that changed everything for me, that night was called the Battle of the Blues Harmonicas with Kim Wilson and James Harmon.
No way.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Wow. So full circle.
So when Kim came to pick me up at the hotel in California, and I got in, and like within 2 minutes I said, stop everything. I got to tell you this story. Like, we've met before. I don't expect you to remember. I was about 16 years old, but that night, and he was just looking at me like, "Are you kidding me?" And I mean, like, totally honest. You guys will understand, the reverence that all of those guys have and had for Mel Brown.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
immediately, and the Gator, of course, and that's why they were all there. So kudos to Glenn Smith for everything that he did, and the fact that he created an opportunity for us young people and the whole community to actually see world-class entertainment like that is a pretty remarkable thing.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's unbelievable. And then did you tour with the Thunderbirds after that for a little bit, or are you about to?
I did. I toured back in November. I did. They came here to Canada. They were, touring all over the place. They were in the UK the week before that. And so they came to Canada. I did opening dates, and then I actually sat in with the band and played with them as well.
Oh, terrific. That's so cool. For those, just to bring up, Andrew gets mad at me when I say our 9 listeners, but I know we have more than 9. But anyway, for our 9 listeners, I know I did a very truncated intro for Steve Strongman, but he's been on the circuit for a long, long time. But the thing that impresses me most, Steve, about you, because I know I've not met you before, but that you've been it's not just about winning awards, but you have been recognized by both Juno and Maple Blues Awards festivals, just not only for your blues guitarist, but a songwriter, the recording. So like you fire on all cylinders. You're not just a one-trick pony. And I am so in awe of that. I think that's fantastic. So congratulations to you, right? It's for those of you, I would just
thank you.
Tune into podcasts. I don't know. Anyway, I was like, who's this Steve Strongman guy? Well, you should know, but it's not just like, you might have heard him as a blues guitar player if you're into guitars like I am. But he's also a dynamite songwriter, which gets him hooked up with the Thunderbirds, and also, creating these blues recordings. So that's pretty amazing.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just, for those people, just bringing everybody up to speed. Those 9 people deserve to know, Andrew.
Right. Listen, Steve, when it comes to your writing, where do you like to start? Are you working with a melody or a lyric, or is it just a feeling that is swelling inside? And really, where are you pulling the inspiration from?
Well, it always is different for me. I think that a common theme with writers that you'll probably have when you guys talk to people about writing music is you never really know where or when inspiration is going to strike or come from. That is the main thing with me. I would say almost always it comes from the music side of things, because I'm more of a player. Like I constantly, wherever possible, have a guitar within reach. And that is always the inspiration. I'll come up with something cool, and then I might hear a melody. And then I usually just use my phone, like just to record the idea and get it down as soon as you can hear something and feel something. And then for me, almost, all the time, the lyrics come after that. I'll have a different idea, or I'll come back and say, oh, that reminded me of this. Now, when I was writing with Kim, it was a really cool process, because this was, post-COVID, and both of us, we had a lot of, potential material on the go between the two of us. So it wasn't like I got in a room and went, what do you feel like writing today, Kim? I was like, hey, I got an idea. What do you think of this? And then he was like, oh, that's cool. Well, I had something that was similar. What about this? And it was also interesting for us in terms of the writing aspect, because, him being one of the world's best harmonica players in that style, he doesn't necessarily accompany himself. So it left a lot of room for me to listen to what his melodies were and to bring some different kind of chord structure behind that he maybe hadn't considered before. So, I would say it's always different. And to me, that's what part of the most fun about writing is. It's always different, and it's kind of a blank canvas, and you can approach it differently all the time.
Well, that's
Steve,
great.
let me ask you this question. I'm just trying to formulate it in my head as to what I'm actually getting at. Like, I'm assuming that, like, the more you write over the years, one would hope that you're getting better all the time. But based on your age and your experience, because our thoughts are generally based on what we've experienced, are you finding that writing now, sorry, Steve, how old are you?
I'm 51.
Okay, so you and I are the same. Grew up on Springsteen, et cetera, on the '80s. Are you finding now at this age, is it easier then to write songs because now you feel like, oh, I can contribute. This isn't so much sophomoric anymore. I actually have some depth of experience to bring to my writing. But does that make it easier or does that make it harder for you? What do you think?
Um, that's a really good question, actually. I wouldn't say it necessarily easier or harder. To me, I have to be inspired to write. And I would say that part of the thing that I'm finding now with writing is, okay, I've been fortunate enough as an artist to have 8 albums in my career. And okay, what now? Like, I just feel like I don't want to just do something that I've already done before. What is the new direction that I feel like I want to go? Where is that inspiration taking me? And, I've done an acoustic record that was very successful. I've done several different records. Now I've been a guest, essentially a guest with the Thunderbirds and sort of on the other side of the glass as a producer. So the challenge for me now as a writer and as somebody as trying to be artistic, where do you go from there? Like, you've kind of done a lot. What's next? And that is weighing on me in a different way than previously. Like, when my first record came out, Honey, that came out in 2006. I had a lot of success with Plasticine, with being in a co-writing relationship with Rob Zabo and with different artists that you guys would know, like Shannon Lyon and, great artists that I was playing a different role in. So then for me to come and go, okay, no, I have something to say. I'm an artist myself. I'm Steve Strongman. Here's my first record, Honey, in 2006. Well, that was like, you kind of let the horses out of the barn going crazy because there was so much pent up stuff that I had. So now it is different now. It's like, well, I start writing sometimes and I go, that song kind of feels like, well, it's like a finger picking kind of a hybrid picking. That's a little bit too close to River or Coming Home Tonight or songs that I've previously written.
Sure.
So in that respect, I think it's actually a little bit harder. It's harder to try and stay fresh and stay inspired. Because in a lot of ways, like you say, I have been around for a long time, and it's different when you've seen the man behind the curtain.
Right.
Sure.
It's the Wizard of Oz, right? Pay no
Yeah.
attention to that man behind the curtain.
Yeah, but you can't write like it's funny. I like that approach where you're trying, make your songs sound differently. I do the same when when I write. It's just I don't want to have some sort of formula because something worked well one time. So I guess my question too is and you don't want it to be sort of sophomoric. So do you write the song that you want to write and then is it ever a concern about, okay, well, I've written a song, I like it, I don't know that, like, it just doesn't seem to have any commercial merit because it's not radio friendly, or it doesn't have the chord progression that's in vogue right now, that sort of thing? Like, is that a concern, or are you just like, look, I'm just writing this song for me, if other people like it, great? Is that sort of
Honestly, Lance, that's exactly
that's the healthiest
it for me, because as soon as, in my opinion, as an artist, as soon as you start writing like, oh, this is hot, this is going to get on the radio, oh, I got to do this. First of all, let's be honest here. Radio doesn't really exist anymore. Like radio in the way that the three of us grew up listening to radio and following artists and going out and buying records, that doesn't exist anymore. It's a completely different climate. I mean, you guys would probably know better than me because you talk to a lot of artists, right? Like, now it's so different. It's a singles based market. People are only releasing singles. They're not necessarily writing albums and releasing albums and bodies of work in the same way, because, people just put it on their playlist on their phones and that's how they consume music. So that's a very different approach from an artist perspective. And to answer your question, I don't write like that. I don't go, oh, this one's really going to do it for me. This one's really going to get on the radio, because there's no radio anyway. And especially if you're in, quote unquote the blues market, you're already up against it anyway. So you better just do something that you can get behind and that you can sing every night. Like that was one
Yeah.
of the things, again, that Kim and I constantly talked about. If I didn't like a lyric that he had written or that I had written, he didn't like it, vice versa, I would say, well, listen, at the end of the day, you're going to be the one singing this song. So you got to be able to get behind it.
Right. So we better change that lyric.
Yeah, you got to change that lyric and be able to get behind it, or what are we even doing here, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think sometimes too, it's important to recognize demographic. Just in terms of like, hey, I'm writing this song as a 50-year-old guy, and somebody else in a different demographic might not even get what I'm talking about. So I can't really worry about that. I find this a funny story. I don't know if you guys will find this funny, but I've written this song that is called Skipping Stones, and people seem to like it. When I'm out performing, they seem to like it. And it's basically about a friend of mine who went through a divorce, and skipping stones is a metaphor for just wasting time. I can't waste any more time with this. It's like skipping stones. Okay. So we all get the thing. I had a client of mine who was quite young, and she came in and said, "Hey, play something that's like alt country for me." I'm like, "Okay, great." I put on Skipping Stones, and I said, "Yeah, what do you think?" She goes, "I give it a 4." I'm like, "Ooh, like out of 5? Would that be okay?" She goes, "No, like out of 10." Okay, so keep in mind, she's like a 16-year-old female, right? I'm a 50-year-old dude that wrote this song, and other 50-year-old dudes and people like this song, and she laughed, and I was like, 4 out of 5. Why? She goes, "It doesn't make me cry, and I can't dance to it. So what good is it?" I'm like, "Oh, right. Yeah, right. You're 16. If you can't cry and you can't dance, it's shit."
They just don't understand it.
No, but to Steve's bigger point, you better write for yourself, because, what do I know about writing something for a 16-year-old person anymore, right? I just don't have that kind of angst.
Well, I totally understand, and that is funny, Lance. But to me, it's the old adage songwriters used to say, well, "It's none of my business. I wrote a song, but really, it's none of my business." Like, whether you like it or whether you don't like
Right.
it. That's after you put your song out into the world. It's who knows what people are going to think. Like, I love this song that Rob Zabo wrote once. And I'll have to think of exactly what the lyric was. It was "Meet me at the door like I'm home. We'll talk about the warm or the cold." And my wife thought that Rob had said, "We'll talk about the war." And she had conjured up all this amazing imagery in their head of somebody coming back and fought in the war in Iraq or something. And this was like the most amazing thing. And Rob was like, "Yeah, that has nothing at all to do with the song."
I am notorious for that, not hearing lyrics correctly.
But now that you mention it, let's rewrite it. That's great.
Yeah, but it's like, actually, yeah, that's exactly what it's about. That's way better than what I had.
That's golden. Write that down.
Out comes the pencil.
Like, everybody has a different idea of what the song is about and what it means. And like I being in the blues world, I always remember seeing folk artists and what they would do at the beginning of the song. You'd see singer-songwriters, or what we used to call singer-songwriters.
Yeah.
What they do at the beginning of the song is be like, "Oh, I wrote this song. I read in the news there was a plane crash and all these people had their seatbelts on, and it really affected me." And then they start singing a song, and it's like, "Oh, you plane crashed and you still had your seatbelt on." I was like, what the hell is that? Like, why do you have to explain exactly what the song is before you sing it? Just sing the song.
We'd figure that out.
Yeah, Steve, that is so great. Have you ever done? Remember back in the day, when you're at a different level? So I'll still go out and do like singer-songwriter nights, and you're exactly right. And it's required. People come up and say, "Look, it's a singer-songwriter night, so people want you to talk a little bit about your song." I'm like, I don't want to talk about it. Let's just do it. Right? Because I'm with you. It's like, look, I wrote it. I know what it's about. I don't want to map out somebody's experience. It's theirs now. Let's do that. And it's awkward. It's so awkward. And here's what it is.
Like, I wrote this song. Sometimes, you and I and Andrew, we could all talk about songwriting like forever, because it's such an amazing topic, and it's really incredible. But I sometimes will write literal things. Like, I wrote this song on the Strongman Blues Remedy called getting stoned. And it was like literally, I was walking around. We had just gotten a dog, so I'd never really been walking a dog because I'd never had a dog in my life. And I was walking around the neighborhood, just looking around, and I see all these former Tim Hortons that are now pot shops. And,
Right.
and so, you know, that's when inspiration struck me. And I wasn't looking for it. All of a sudden, it was just like, why are all these cool little businesses that used to be mom and pop hardware stores and now they're buds or smoking pot, you know, whatever. Right. So then I wrote a song about getting stoned, and it's like, you know, everybody's out there getting stoned. They're doing it together. They're doing it alone. They're smoking, vaping, baking too. They even got candy for your sweet tooth because it's all about getting stoned. Right. And,
yeah. Yeah. You know why? I'll answer that song for you, because they can't make a decent cup of coffee. You get pie and ice cream. That's why they all turned into pot shops.
Yeah. Well, in Hamilton, they're on every corner, man. You guys know I've been in Hamilton for a while. It's the same in Kitchener. It's the same everywhere.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. Yeah, I think that's a very good point. That's a very good point. So where do you think you mentioned, and I would agree with you, that the music landscape's very different now. Like, it's great when you can create a CD or a vinyl album. It's a real project, right? Like you say, you put projects together, but that's not really where or how people are digesting music anymore. It does seem to go back to, Andrew and I talked about this, like almost like the 50s, where before albums came out, people were just throwing down singles and releasing that. And then there's this dreaded thing, I think, called TikTok. I was born in the 1900s, so I don't get it. But anyway, the TikTok thing where you're just like, here's Steve Strongman and his new song, and that's it. And hopefully they'll think more to go about get an album. I don't know. Like, what do you think, Steve? Like, where are we headed? It's so different now.
Yeah, it is very, very different now. I mean, I don't know. This is a sign that we're getting old, really, to be honest with you guys. This is what it is. Because, you know, I have two girls, 19 and 16. And, you know, I like to think of myself, I try and be a current cool dad. You know what I mean? I try to desperately. I'm sure they would tell you that. Yeah, I'm failing. Yeah, okay, I'm trying, right? But I think what it is now is you try and put your music out there, and what you're trying to do is build a dedicated fan base of people that love what you do. You're trying to get Instagram, TikTok followers, people on your Facebook page, people on your email list. And that's really what you're trying to do. Like, the idea of people going, oh, I'm a huge Steve Strongman fan, I'm going to make sure I buy all his records. Like, that just doesn't exist anymore, because even when I go out and play live, which, you know, that climate has changed drastically. Live performance has drastically changed. It's very different. You know, the cornerstone of my career and my 35 years of playing music for a living has been live performance. And, you know, I don't want to be all doom and gloom about it, but, you know, flights are up, hotel rooms are up. Now people are like, man, I'm just going to, like, even me next month or in May, I'm going to fly out west. I'm not going to be on the road for an extended period of time. I'm going to fly in and start in Alberta, head to BC, play a few shows, and fly back home. Because I can't afford to stay out on the road and do the long drives in between and grab a hotel room on a Tuesday night because there's nowhere to play. It's too expensive. So now I'm having to go, okay, well, what's this look like now? Okay, well, pare everything down. You're not throwing 5 guitars and 2 amps in the van and getting with the guys anymore. You're flying out there and doing a solo show.
Right.
You know, so it's really, really drastically different. We'll say, and you know, I hate this aspect of it because I personally believe that there's nothing like being in the room with live music. You got to be in the room to really get it, right? It just doesn't do the same kind of thing for me when I'm sitting in front of the computer with a guitar in my hands. It's cool. Like, it's, you know, during the pandemic, we all did it because we had to. Right. But, you know, you're staring at a screen. You're not going to get any emotion really from the screen when you're trying to play. And all of a sudden you open your eyes and there's nobody in the room because, you know, people are holding up their hands on a computer screen trying to clap or something, right?
So, Steve, this leads me to my next question. It's not a fair question because the question was sort of leading to say, hey, is it still possible to make a living as a musician in Canada? Because I don't know how. I did this interview a while back. Somebody was asking me about the state of live music in KW. Do you know Betty Ann Keller? She produced the Rock This Town documentary.
I don't think so, but I'll
Yeah,
check
it was
it out
just
for
about
sure.
the documentary is awesome, and it explores the rich musical history of Kitchener-Waterloo, right? Like Elton John played the Bomb Shelter back in the day. Kiss has played Wilfrid Laurier's Jim. Like there's a plethora of big names that have come through, and she did this great documentary on it. And she really was excited about wanting KW to have a grassroots movement and people, so they didn't feel like they had to go to Toronto or to Montreal to actually be a musician. Right. You could be in KW and we'd have a rich musical tapestry because we do. We have yourself included. We have a pantheon of amazing musicians that have come from this area. And I said to her, this is kind of my issue, because if you talk to most of us, nobody's really a musician to make money. But at the same time, it's really hard if you've devoted a lot of time and effort and you've gone to even the trouble of buying a decent instrument to play, and you're still making the same as, like, if I go out and do a solo gig or even with my band, we're making the same as I made in my 20s. Like nothing has moved, right? And to your point, the gas to get to that gig is quadrupled and guitar strings are expensive and blah, blah, blah. So I guess I'm asking you the impossible question is, how do you see moving forward? How do we solve the issue? Because as you know, there's musicians at every level, right? You're certainly, certainly lots of rungs above where I'm at right now, but we're all sort of facing the same thing where you've got solo gigs. I'm assuming you're not going to leave your house until they pay you a certain price. But as you said, you can't run 5 or 6 gigs together because you can't afford to be out there. You're not doing it to lose money. How do we solve this problem?
Well, it's a real problem, and you're exactly right. It's something that we all have in common, no matter what level you're at. So we could talk at length, in my opinion, about what the real issue is, and it depends the level that you're at. So those gigs that, if you're going out, there are gigs out there where the Blue Jays are playing and you're sitting in the corner, and God bless people that are playing cover music for a living. I did it for many, many years of my life.
Sure.
I get it. But that's a very different climate than you trying to say, I'm an original artist. I have something to say, and I wrote a bunch of my songs, and I want you to pay a ticket price, come in, sit down, and be quiet and listen to what I have to say. That's a completely different dynamic, right?
Right.
So I think what's happening now is smaller rooms for higher ticket prices. That's really the only way that you can do, because the people are out there. They're few and far between, but there are audiences that will still pay for that experience. And what has to happen is musicians have to make enough money so that they can afford to be musicians. And unfortunately, what happens a lot, you guys have probably seen this before, is that the music suffers, the performance suffers. These artists that have to go out and do something else 40 or 50 hours a week and the music has to suffer, right? Like I would, in my situation, I've been able, and I have my life set up in such a way that I'm able to explore the creative aspect of what it is that I want to do. But the other observation is just how many cover bands are out there and how many tribute acts are out there at ticket prices. That's where people are spending their money and going. What is it like for somebody that's coming up now to try and go, like back in the day when we were original artists out there trying to play our music, and you could get it on the radio, or at least there was enough of people listening and loving what you do that you could continue doing it. It made sense to do it.
Right.
I think if people are still around playing music in the way that I am, like as for a living, like this is all, I don't do anything else, and I'm very lucky and fortunate to do that. We just have to tour more, but they're likely going to be smaller venues for higher ticket prices. That's really the only answer that I see.
Right. And then I guess there's, just like there's different levels of musicianship, and you're right, there's different ways if you're depending on covers to make sure people come out. There's that level. And then look, these are all my originals, pay me whatever. My contention as a consumer of that, I would much rather pay a relatively higher price to see Steve Strongman at Center in the Square or a smaller venue that's intimate and you sound great, than spend $500 to see you at the ACC where it's going to sound shitty and I'm 10K from you and I can't even see you. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think there's a value added perspective, right? Like I love Jason Isbell as a writer and a performer and a guitar player. I think he's phenomenal. I've been lucky enough to see him at Massey Hall. I wouldn't see him open up for somebody else at a major stadium. It'd be worthless to me. So I guess you're right. There's going to be audiences that are like, I don't know if I'd spend that kind of money at a small venue, but they'll drop $1,000 to, see somebody else at a major stadium. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's also about an experience, what you're doing, and the rise of, we'll call them alternate venues, is key. That's really happening for me right now. People are having more house concerts because we have less venues. So, when you look at the climate that happened post-COVID, accumulating in a loss of live music venues everywhere, not just in the KW area or Hamilton area. I'm talking national and international loss of venues. So those are no longer there. And you pair that in with the fact that musicians are actually, they were starving and we had to go out and tour more. So you had way more musicians and way less venues.
Yeah.
That.
And don't forget, really... the third element was people were starved for live music because they'd been holed up in their house for a while. So you had so much consumerism. Like, God, I would just love to listen to a live band or a live guitar player. So there was the demand, but again, the lack of venue, right?
Right.
So there was three components.
Right. Exactly. So now I think what's happening is, and I'm encouraging it too, like, hey, smaller house concerts. And I know people that are huge supporters of live music that go, I've got a venue. We bring a bunch of chairs into the living room of our house. We charge $70 a head. There's some finger foods that people bring. And then that becomes an experience. It's dead quiet. It sounds amazing. There's a meet and greet aspect that you're meeting people. Then it's like, oh my God, I can't get that anywhere else. You don't get that when you go to a huge venue, like you were saying. You don't get that experience. Right. But I think that is where, depending again on the level that you're on, that is where we're going to have to start turning towards to make a living.
That's a great idea, actually.
Yeah. Well, you do hear about a lot of backyard parties, and Andrew, you've been to a couple of local ones, right? So, what do they have? The KW Porch Party now, which sort of what Steve's talking about.
Yeah. So, I mean, to me, house concerts and house parties are a different thing too. I always, you get, if somebody's a Steve Strongman fan and they were to get in touch with me and go, hey, we really want you to come and play, but we're not talking about guys sitting around with a huge bonfire and a couple of cases of beer. That's cool too, but
that's not what we're talking about.
No, the thing we're talking about is like, okay, it's like there's as many people in a room as you can possibly get comfortably, and everybody's dedicated and seated and listening, and you're playing your material, and it's an experience. I think that there's going to be a rise in those types of there has to be, because what else is there? Like, guys like me, like, you're not going to be playing sit down theaters every night. Even successful touring acts that are friends of mine, that are my contemporaries, like they don't play Massey Hall every night. It's just not happening.
No,
you got to make enough money at the time. When you're doing those great venues, and when you're getting the opportunity to play great festivals, you need to make enough money to sustain yourself for the leaner times that are going to happen throughout the rest of the year.
Right. But then to your earlier point, in order to get there, you've got to create the material that's worth hearing or that people relate to, or whatever the product is. And if you have to work a couple of jobs just to survive, then the creativity and or music is going to suffer. So it's cannibalistic in that regard, right?
Well, yeah, I was talking with a friend of mine who's a killer guitar player, and he's like, I can't wait to play a gig because it's probably the only time I'm going to have a guitar in my hands. Like the rest of the time, people don't see how much time and effort it takes to get all of that stuff so that you're on stage ready and, performing in the way that you want to perform. Well, you have to have so much time and energy and all of the other things that go into a performance before you even get on the stage. Once you get on the stage, that's payback time for us. That's, this is why I'm doing it. This is
Right.
why I just had 2 plane fares and, a 4-hour drive to get to sound check. This is why I'm doing it. That's your time, right?
Right. And
And
it's
if
so
you
short
don't
by
have
comparison.
it is, but if you don't have the time, all of a sudden you're up there going, "What the hell am I doing here?" Like, I can't even remember the lyrics to the song because I've been so busy doing something else so that I can try and sustain myself to even get to this point. It just doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
Good
a lot of
point.
work that goes into that. So when you're talking about those hours and hours to prep to get on stage, do you have any pre-show rituals that you always go through, or are you just a guy that walks up and plugs in and away we go?
That's a great question. I do have I call it my pregame ritual.
Yeah.
And what I do is usually about 30 minutes before the show, maybe 20 minutes before the show, I sit down by myself in the dressing room and I just like to be alone. And I have a blank sheet of white paper and a black Sharpie and a cold beer. And I just think about the show and I sit down and I write my set list. Even if I have a set list that I'm working from, it changes in my mind because I try and put myself into that environment. And by the way, I always like to be in whatever space that I'm performing in. I like to be there for at least 2 hours before the show. So that's kind of a
Yeah.
pregame ritual to me.
Mhm.
And I play harmonica to do like a vocal warm up without stressing my voice. I because it works your diaphragm, and I sort of do that technical aspect and the guitar playing aspect of it. And I just put myself into a zone, and I try to treat every single performance like it's my last one. Like this is your big one. And if you
Yeah.
go into live shows with thinking about that, like I just am not wired to sort of go, this isn't that big of a gig. And, that's not me. I just can't do it. Like I'm always going crazy, chomping at the bit. Like I'm going to give it to these people, whether there's 20 people there, or
Yeah.
I've played to 20,000 people. Like, I get it. I know what it looks like. I know what it feels like. And, to me, some of the most incredible experiences actually that I've had have been just those nights that are really special, like, playing in Center in the Square, opening up for BB King. Like, I'll never forget that. That was just a magical night.
Yeah. Amazing. And for everybody in the audience too, like I don't know. I know it sounds old. I'm so into smaller venues now.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
I think for both the performer and the audience, it's a shared experience and it's a lot more intimate than something else, I guess. And maybe that's why Pop the Gator was so awesome, right? Because it was a small, sweat infused blues place, right? So that's cool.
I think that's probably common with a lot of, that's why bands like the Rolling Stones like to do pre big tours at the Horseshoe, and because we like that kind of experience. At least I do. Like, I mean, there's nothing like going into an overcrowded, hot, sweaty blues club with a kick-ass band up there. I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't get much better than that. You just go, wow, where am I? This is amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Steve, I gotta ask a question, and I want you to watch Andrew's face because he's gonna roll his eyes. The 335 that's in a lot of your pictures. What year what year of guitar is that?
Well, I have 3 of them. I can tell.
Oh, look at that!
Lance.
Of course he does.
I have 3. I like my friend Tony D from Monkey Junk says, he's like, who the hell has 335s? So
Steve Strongman,
I do.
that's
I
who.
love them. I absolutely love them. Yeah. So by the way, my number one, I think you're referring to my number one. This is for all the guitar playing geeks out there, Lance. Yeah. Andrew, are you a guitar player?
I have something back in the corner that I hack on, but I really wouldn't call me a guitar player.
Okay, so here it is. It's 90. I'm trying to think of the exact year of my number one because I think it's 94. Because I got that at Sherwood Music in Kitchener.
Oh wow,
and
there it is.
I traded a Paul Reed Smith and a JTM 45 head and cabinet, all for that 335. And it was my only one guitar that I had for most of my professional career. I was a one guitar guy, and it was that 335.
Yeah.
So
nice.
it's a 59 reissue, slim neck, dot neck 335.
Okay. Sweet.
And I
Nice.
love that guitar. I actually don't play a lot live with that guitar because it's become very special to me. And if anything ever happened to it, I'd be mortified. So for the guitar players out there, that's my guitar. That's what I play, and it's pretty much stock except for a drop D hip shot that I put on it.
Wow. All right.
Cool.
And then you bought two others to take on the road with you at some point.
Exactly. I'll tell you exactly what happened there. I had to have a second 335 because if anything happened to my 335, I still want to be playing a 335.
It stands to reason. You're preaching to the choir, brother. Anyway, yeah.
Exactly.
Of course
so
you had to
have, second 330. Yeah, of course. I bought a second 335 and the neck broke on it because I had flown a show in Quebec City, and it was my fault. I didn't have it in a proper case, but long story, the neck broke on it. I pulled it out of the case and I was like, what the hell is this? Anyway, I went to my good friends at actually at Long and McQuaid here in Hamilton, and they said, take another 335, whatever one you want, we'll loan you till yours is fixed. Yeah. So I took an absolutely gorgeous candy apple red 335 custom shop.
Nice.
And I was only supposed to have it for 2 months, and they fixed my other one, and I took the candy apple red one that was on loan back to the store, and they said, okay, great, how did it work? And I was like, I have to have it. I have to buy this guitar. So
never went back.
I'll tell you guys, you know what happened? I fell in love with that guitar, and they were like, well, Steve, you're a Gibson endorsee. You can probably get a better deal if you go through Gibson. And I was like, no, you don't understand. It's this one.
This guitar.
So that is
that
the
one
story
that
of
they
why
had.
Steve Strongman has three 335s.
I may have met my soulmate.
You guys can go hugging.
Yeah, we could. You know what? We're gonna have to do another
hug and cry together
podcast just based on guitars. That's what we'll do.
Steve, I'm so. I mean, well, look, Hamilton's not that far. I've got a 65 Epiphone, so that was built in Kalamazoo, right?
Oh.
And essentially it's a 335, but it has the mini humbuckers in it. And like it had a broken headstock that was repaired very, very well. But other than that, it's just, I get it, man. It's just it, right? But I think I should have like 5 more. Just
I went to the actual site of the birth of Gibson guitars in Kalamazoo, Michigan. It's now Heritage Guitars. You know that, right?
Yeah.
On Parsons Street, you know? Yeah. So I'll have to send you the pictures of me standing in front of it, because I was just like, and it's just, it hasn't changed at all. The front door is the same.
Yeah.
Right.
Are they doing a museum or something? Aren't they, like, they're building something there, I thought, that was going to be a tribute to Gibson. But yeah, it is hallowed ground, right? That's awesome.
It is hallowed ground, and I have been there, and it's absolutely incredible, and it was amazing to be there. Obviously, you know, I was there and looking at Heritage Guitars, and the good people at Heritage took me through for a personalized tour for reasons we won't get into right now, but it was pretty amazing. It was unbelievable to go and see the process and how they're built and how special every single instrument is.
Yeah, for sure. And they've, for those listening, Heritage has all the old Gibson machines. Like, they didn't just buy the building. They're doing it right down to the bobbins and the pickups and the whole 9 yards. So
absolutely. And a lot of people don't realize this. There's actually one machine, like any 335 that has ever been made in North America has all been made on this one machine. Right.
Oh, wow.
And it's like from the 50s. I'll send you a picture of me standing there with it. It's like the machine. Any Gibson 335 that's ever, like, Lucille and BB King's, they're all done on this one machine.
So would that have included the Epiphones too? Because back in the day, they were built they all came out of the same factory.
That probably would have, because the templates are all the same, right? But I'm not sure. I definitely know for the Gibson 335s it was that, right. But for the Epiphones, I'm not exactly sure.
The only difference, the
it's a pretty
bodies were the
remarkable
same.
thing.
Yeah, the bodies were the same. The neck tendons were longer on the Epiphones. But I think that's it, right? So that's cool. I'm glad. Yeah, I'd love to see those photos. That's very cool.
Definitely.
Okay,
Steve,
I'll have to find them and send them to you.
Yeah, please do. And then we're gonna put that podcast together. We can be like guitar geeks or something. Right? That'll be our. And we'll have another podcast with another 9 listeners. We'll get them. That's all right. Steve, on the off chance that you've not listened to Backstage Lowdown before, we finish up with Andrew doing a speed round. It is an unscientific way that we get to know you. We ask you questions like shoes or boots, and you quickly say boots because that's what you'd rather wear than shoes or whatever. So you can't get the answers wrong.
Okay.
Okay, so that's
you will
the
be
setup
judged, but you can't get them wrong.
That's true. We will judge you unfairly about your answers.
Yeah, you guys will judge me.
Yeah,
you guys at the end of this, you'll be like, "Oh my god, can you believe he said that?"
Guy's unbelievable. I mean, the guy's 50 and he's still wearing Fruit of the Loom. I couldn't believe he chose that one. Ridiculous.
Hey, they're really comfortable.
Okay, do it.
All right, here we go. Let's go.
I'm ready.
I think I already know the answer to the first one, but Gibson 335 or Fender Strat?
Oh, come on.
Yeah, we know. I don't even know why I asked, but I wrote the question before.
I know it's a speed round, but I'm having so much fun with you guys. I will elaborate really quickly. So it is definitely a Gibson 335, but in Kitchener, they asked me to do this tribute to Eric Clapton, so I had to borrow a Strat. And guess what happened? I fell in love with the Strat, and I bought it off of my buddy. So now I have a Strat.
And I don't like Strats, but I like that Strat.
That Strat. Okay, let's move on. Studio work or live performance?
Live performance.
Writing alone or co-writing?
Alone.
Memphis blues or Chicago blues?
I'm going to say Chicago.
Big festival stage or versus a small intimate club?
Small intimate club.
Pizza or steak?
Ooh, I'm going to have to go with pizza.
Nice. Very nice.
See, there's the judgment.
Yes. Man after my own heart. We're okay. We're good. We're good.
All right.
Okay. Solo night or full band?
Oh, these are good, man. I'm going to say full band.
Vinyl or streaming?
Oh, yeah. I'll say vinyl because people will kill me if I say streaming, but
everybody's streaming it.
I love
my vinyl.
Yeah, I like how he thinks a shit ton of people are listening. That's sweet. It's nice. People
Yeah, exactly. Wow, yeah. I was having dinner the other night, and I was sitting there having dinner, and halfway through dinner, our host said, "Hang on a sec. Excuse me for a second. I've got to go turn over the record." And I almost
no way.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, we're listening to vinyl, and we have to take a pause to turn over the record. I love that.
When is the last? I can't even remember the last time you heard that.
Tell me about that.
Well,
you guys tell me, when was the last time you were out with somebody and they went, "Hang on, I got to go flip the record"?
Well, nobody will invite Lance out for dinner, but I, on the other hand, no, I can't. I think we just lost him. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? We're almost done.
Oh no, Steve.
That's what happens when you sign in from your car.
Yeah, well, we had Steve Strongman, and I got to tell you, one of our most enjoyable guests, right?
Oh, that was awesome.
Super sweet guy. Can you please forward him my cell number?
Yes,
we're dating now.
Will.
All right, just in all seriousness, give him my cell number. We need to connect.
Yeah. You guys will be getting. Oh no, here he comes.
There he is.
He's back. He's back.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, guys.
That's okay.
At least you didn't crash.
Did you on a date now?
I know. I said, make sure you give Steve my cell number. We have more to talk about.
I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna be coming back on and go, were they talking about me? Wait, I'm gonna go back and check if you guys were talking about me.
Yeah, we were.
Well, I
it
hope
was me
so.
asking Andrew to give you my cell number. Just make sure he gets my cell.
We got to hook up. We got to go talk guitars.
Yeah. Not that my wife ever listens.
Round.
Yeah. All right, go ahead.
Okay. Crowd of fans or a crowd of strangers?
I'm going to go with crowd of strangers.
Nice. I'll tell you what, Steve, I that was my contribution to Andrew's list. And I tell you why I put it in there, because while it is always kind of nice to play a gig where people come out and support you and, it's all great. I love nothing more than to go to like a different town where I know nobody and try to win that crowd over because they owe me nothing. And there's something uniquely satisfying about that. So I thought I'd throw that in just to see.
I totally agree with you. And there's also the aspect of there's no preconceived notions. Like, it's always weird when you're up there performing and you're like, oh my God, I think that's my babysitter from when I was in grade 3. That's a little different.
That's right.
And she's so hot.
Hey, Martha, you're looking good.
Yeah, you're standing with your foot on the monitor and pointing your guitar, and then you're going, "Oh, that's kind of inappropriate."
Okay. Last but not least, harmonica or trumpet?
Come on, harmonica, man! Are you kidding?
There we go.
Who wrote that?
And that.
Who wrote harmonica or trumpet?
Another.
Where does that even come from?
Trumpet? What the hell?
You got that question because I could not read Lance's last question. I felt like an idiot.
Lance, give me your last question. I gotta have it. Give me the last question.
No, you know what it was? It was weird because all three of us are like 50-year-old dudes, and I was going back to some ridiculous lexicon for pants, and I was like, "How about trousers, slacks, or dungarees?" I was trying to it was the dumbest question, but it was all based on us being like these 50-year-old guys that grew up on Scooby-Doo and Springsteen.
I wonder if you were with the 100 or 200,000 listeners that we have right now.
Yes.
I wonder if you said slacks to the younger generation, if they'd even know what you were talking about.
No, quite often they do not.
That's something that you guys can say on your, the podcast. You can, next time you're out and you see somebody, you go, "Hey, those are some nice slacks you've got on there."
Yeah. Steve, we lost them at Turnover the Record. They're like, "What the hell are they talking about?" The return to vinyl craze is being led by the three of us. Like it's literally a 50-year-old dude club that are resurgence of vinyl. And I still I talk to kids, "Hey man, you want this record?" You're like, "What are you talking about, old man?"
But your babysitter Martha, she's what's last?
That's right. I got a song about
Peacock Blue.
This is I'm giving you guys the gold here because they can only get it. All these people can only get it if they tune into your podcast, right?
Yes.
So this made me feel a little bit strange in an old way because I was doing this corporate thing last week in Cambridge, and this woman, she was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're here." And she goes, "I used to come and see you play 30 years ago."
Ouch.
And it hurts a little bit. It was like
just a little.
Oh man,
just a little. Steve, I got one more question for you. I know I got to go. Everybody's got to go. I got one more question for you. I'll tell you. So, I want you to start thinking of like the lowest point in your musical career, and I'll give you mine so that you can start to springboard off that. Okay, I'm playing at a bar in Orillia, Ontario, the mecca of music, and it's a bar that's in a hotel. Okay, so it's a hotel sports bar or whatever, and the stage is like a riser that's 8 inches off the ground. And so my first set starts at 9, so it's not that late yet. And in the hotel there was a hockey tournament on that weekend for like 10-year-olds, and so the parents, the 10-year-olds were hyped up on pop or whatever the hell, so they weren't going to bed. So my first set, I had all these 10-year-old boys and they come right up and sit in front of the stage. It's a little unnerving. And I'm doing my set of whatever the hell I'm playing at that time. And I shit you not, I look down and 6 of these kids are making armpit noises along with the song. And I'm like, I got to give up.
I'm sorry.
This is going to cause, this is it for me. I'm done. I cash out, I tap out. I can't do this anymore. I'm up here, I was like, I'm trying my best and I can't. This is awful, right? Okay.
Pre-game ritual now.
Yeah. You go, Steve. All right. Lowest point.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, lowest point. There's been some tough ones. I will say that for sure. I think if you're in the business long enough, there has to be tough ones, right? It's like the Spinal Tap. You know, if I've told them once, I've told them 1,000 times. Puppet show first, Spinal Tap after. You know, that's what it's like, right? So I once I was on playing a show, and the opening act was a tractor pull.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And I don't know if that is like, that's not necessarily the lowest kind of, oh my God, what am I doing here? I was that was kind of difficult. And then I was doing a festival. The festival shall remain nameless, but I was playing a solo show, and there was like a lot of people there. I'm going to say like 2,000 to 3,000 people. And then this guy came out, and he stood directly in front of me, took off his shirt, and shotgunned a King Can right in front of me and threw it on the ground. And he got more applause than I did. That's the real kicker.
I'm doing that at Atlanta's next show.
Like,
it's the applause.
He had the pen ready to go. He slammed the King Can. He had his shirt off, and I was standing there going, "Where am I right now?"
That's awesome,
like,
man.
What is going on? And people went nuts. They were like, "Okay, finally, somebody's doing something."
Yeah, that's right.
Those are road stories, though, that you'll never forget.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the beautiful thing. That's awesome.
Hey, what you do, you just want to be into the future, right? You're like, hey, man, that guy's going to the Grammys. Shut up.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly, man. So
great.
Honestly, it used to be a ridiculous kind of joke that my friends would tell me when I would tell them stories. They'd say, seriously, you got to write a book. Like you got to write a book, because I tell them these stories that you can't make up, right?
No.
And now I think I'm old enough that I'm like, I don't know, maybe I could consider it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time to start telling some road stories.
Yeah.
I got lots of them.
At the very least, a compilation of like, your 5 best musician friends. Like, okay, guys, give me your 5 best stories. This is a book, right? So,
oh my God, that'd be so easy. Okay, I'll tell you just for your podcast. Here's a good one. My good buddy Tommy Swick. It's a short story. Tommy's on tour with the Bare Naked Ladies, and they're playing stadiums. Well, Tommy's kind of a wild man. He loves to party. So he's particularly tired, and he's had some partying going on. So he's fine. He does his opening act. He gets on the tour bus, and that's the end of the night for him. He's not going out. He's not doing anything, right? So, he gets in the tour bus, and you know what the tour bus is like. You go in your own little cubicle, you close the curtain, and you're in your little coffin, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
So Tommy finally, I had a good sleep, and he wakes up the next day, and he undoes the thing, and he comes out in the tour bus, and he got on the wrong tour bus.
Where is he?
He woke up in like Atlanta, Georgia, and people, the greatest thing is nobody knew he was in there. They were going, "Who the hell are you? How the hell did you get on this bus?"
That's so awesome.
So he had to call the guys in the Bare Naked Ladies, and he had to fly himself. He had to get to an airport and fly himself back to the tour.
It's awesome.
That's an awesome one, man.
That's good. That's really good.
There you go. So, like I said, we could get some of our friends together and tell us the best road stories. And there you go.
Oh, that's
We're
awesome.
opening the show with that story.
There you go. Jeez. Steve, this has been a real pleasure, man. I can't tell you how this has just been a really nice ride. So thanks, man. Thanks for joining us today.
Lance,
really appreciate
Andrew,
it.
Thank you. I really enjoyed talking to both of you guys. I really had a lot of fun. And thanks so much for having me on.